Welcome to So Mom. Thanks, Del. I'm glad you're part of my podcast. I'm glad you're part of mine. This is the podcast where we talk about resilience, reinvention, and what should I do here? Life's curveballs. Oh, that was a good one. I know. Good pun. Yeah. I'd appreciate that. Very good. What'd you do this week? This week was just filled with a lot of odds and ends, but my favorite thing was, of course, yesterday having you all for brunch. Yes, I wanted to talk to you about that brunch. Yeah, it was funny. So I remember, if I'm not mistaken, growing up in a house where we had all bran, yummy, wheat toast, grape nuts, the bad granola with no chocolate chips, yes. But you elected on this and other brunches, but I'm going to really get into it with you on this brunch, to serve for my children, as though this was sort of a natural thing. French toast with ice cream. Yes, that's exactly right. I always am trying to impress your children with how cool I am, what a great grandmother I am. And I found the recipe on TikTok. So I thought right away, I'm winning. And it was to dip. This huge vat of ice cream comes out. Yeah, that's right. And then you start putting, by the way, bread that I have never seen growing up, the squishy white bread, in the ice cream. That's right. It was really disgusting, just to be honest. You know, Adele. Like, it's actually disgusting. Okay. And then you fry up this bread with ice cream on it. Yeah. It did not taste disgusting. I do have a memory of you saying, I'll split a piece with you. I did split a piece with. And then you said, and I quote, this is really good. Yeah, good like a Twinkie. Okay, Twinkies are good. Nasty. We went to see Jurassic Park. Oh, there's a movie I never want to see again. I never wanted to see that movie again, but my oldest, had never seen that movie because it came out in the 90s, and he's a child of the next decade. So he was talking to the screen. The screens were really big. It was all open air. Yeah. And it was the funniest thing. We were with some of my friends, and he says at one point, this is a bad idea. To like Dr. John Hammond. I'm not the film. Part. The idea to make, sorry, you thought the film was about? No, just the idea of having a dinosaur park. Oh. Yeah, not the actual movie. The movie people think is a good idea. They made like 25 of them. I know. And everybody loves them. I think dinosaurs are a bad idea. What do you think Jurassic Park is about? Give me 15 seconds of I just saw this movie. I really do want to hear. I just saw this movie through my fingers because I really didn't want to watch it. And there were big dinosaurs. And I remember, was it Harrison Ford was chasing? Oh, Harrison Ford was chasing dinosaurs? Yeah. And they were trying to get them back into the park where, I know, they had created dinosaurs out of fairy dust. And they had these dinosaurs, and then they escaped. Okay. And Harrison Ford had like a lasso. He was maybe lassoing them. I think that's another movie. I think that's Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's the same movie to me. I know. It's all the same movie. It's all the same. Sorry, Harrison Ford. We are so thrilled to have Monet Davis as our guest today. Monet is an American athlete from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She is famous for being a pitcher in Little League Baseball. She also played softball for Hampton University. In 2014, Monet was one of only 2 girls to play in the 2014 Little League World Series. She made history by being the first girl to win a game and throw a shutout in the Little League World Series. A shutout for the baseball challenge means the other team scores no runs. She was the 18th girl ever to play in the series and the 6th to get a hit. Monet was also the first Little League baseball player to be featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine. Monet, I first met you when I was head of Springside School, where you went, And I wanted to start by telling our listeners about my very first impression of you. I had heard from your coach what an incredible athlete you were. She's in second grade. How can you tell me she's a great athlete? But so I wasn't impressed by that because I couldn't believe you were that they already knew you were a great athlete. But what impressed me was how you walked into that school and made it your own. You were like a unicorn student. Everybody was attracted to you, wanted to be your friend, and you were everybody's friend. You had a lovely, inclusive way. Um, and I watched as you evolved and realized yes, in fact, you were as great as that coach said you were and would be. And I've often wondered and want to talk to you about the pressures of student athletes. And you must have been under incredible pressure as a little girl, and it never showed. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I give it to Coach Steve. He always just allowed us to be ourselves. So when it comes to like dealing with pressure, I feel like we never really had pressure on ourselves. We're playing for our teammates and we're out there having fun. So I feel like pressure kind of comes from the outside, but when you have a support system around you that encourages you to be yourself, to, just go out and do whatever you want to do. And as far as like kind of being a unicorn student, it was just how I grew up, just including everybody, making sure everybody felt welcome, making sure everyone knew, you have a voice. So I always tried to incorporate everyone around me, making sure everyone was, doing well. Never wanted anyone to feel left out. And that was my goal as I got older, going through Springside, going to middle school and even going to upper school, is just to always just have know everyone in the grade, try to get to know everyone, because you never know someone's story, and that can change who you are. It could change your perspective on a lot of things. So I was always taught to just make sure everyone feels included.
I want to go back a little bit in your history to middle school. And you decided, because we had a boys' school that was across the street. I don't know if you remember this whole story, but you very much wanted to play on the boys' baseball team. And the athletic director told you you couldn't. You had to play softball. So do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
And
And
what was going through your mind?
well, I tried softball out in sixth grade, so that's the first year you can play sports. I tried it out, and I pitched in a game, I played shortstop in a game, and I also caught in the same game. So I did pretty much all the primary positions in one game, and I was like, this is not for me. Like, it's not for me at all. And I talked to Coach Steve later on. He's like, do you want to play baseball? And I was like, yes, like, I want to play baseball. And so the year before, you have to sign up what sports you're going to play the next year. And so I ended up putting lacrosse down because I was told, no, I can't play baseball. So I put lacrosse down, and all of a sudden, as the year went on, I was told I was able to play baseball, and my eyes just kind of lit up. Like, I got super happy because one of my best friends who also went to the school, his name's Jali, he's in my grade, so we were going to play baseball together at the same time. And he was just so welcoming, and all the guys were so welcoming. And, they treated me like one of their own. No one, had anything bad to say about me. So I felt really good when I was able to go play.
Well, behind the scenes, there was more going on because I remember going to the head of Chestnut Hill Academy and saying, she has to play on the boys' team and we have to make this happen. She is really good. And I remember the coach at the time saying, well, she's never going to start. And I said, she has to be able to try out, and you can't expect that the outcome that you think is going to happen. Wait till you see her play. So you really did prove them wrong. And it's interesting that you mentioned Jali, because I was going back over pictures. During the World Series, we had these banners that I hung up all over campus that said, congrats, Monet, congrats, Jali, and Zion.
Yeah, and Scott. It's absolutely crazy to have four from the same school playing in the Little League World Series, and we all grew up with each other too. So like our chemistry, our bond was something very special. But I do remember seeing the banners coming back to school, beginning of 8th grade. I was just glad that I didn't get a detention because I came to the second day of school with no uniform on, just no backpack. I just wanted to come see my friends and, kind of feel the love and just kind of feel normal once again once I got back to school. And all the girls were great once I got back.
It was so much fun. Of course, Scott's the son of your coach
Yeah.
outside school,
Yeah.
and he's had a nice career of
Yeah.
playing baseball.
Monet,
Yeah.
I have a question. Most of us go through a moment where we have this dream that we could possibly be great at a sport, and then you get that crushed feeling that you're not good. Was there a moment where you realized, oh, I am actually really gifted in this sport? Did that ever come down to an early memory of doing something that was sort of beyond what other kids' capabilities were?
Yeah. I want to say between the ages of like 10 to 12, 10 to 13. Yeah, 10 to 13. Um, I remember the first time I pitched, I was 8 or 9 years old, and a kid hit a moonshot on me. So he hit the ball probably like 400 feet on me. And that was the very first time I pitched, very first batter. And from then, I just continued on working to get better because I never wanted that to happen again. And so once you get to a certain age, you get in baseball tournaments, you get in any type of sporting tournaments, you want to put your best players out there. And I realized I always pitched against the best teams. I always pitched in championship games or games that we needed to win. And that was the moment where I realized, like, my teammates believe in me, my coaches believe in me, like I'm special, and they had so much trust in me to go out there and, do my job to help us get the win. So I feel like between the ages of 10 to 13 was when I realized that, I had something special, and just the support that I had around me, they always, encouraged me. I could just look at anyone on the field and they give me the head nod or give me a high five or, you got this, calm down, like, don't worry about it. And they would always reassure me that they have my back as well. So I feel like from that young of an age that I knew I was pretty special just because of my teammates and my coaches.
I remember how much your teammates, not just the 3 other guys you played with, but your entire Chestnut Hill Academy team really supported having you. You were their number 1 pitcher.
Yeah.
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 And I went and watched you play against a big baseball team. Another school had a great team, and I think that team underestimated you. But boy, your Chestnut Hill Academy teammates did not underestimate you. And I don't know, you may or may not remember, but you pitched a shutout against that team and another team. And I think those opponents were shocked, but also pretty impressed and in awe.
Yeah. I mean, I had so much fun. Middle school baseball was so much fun, and I credit the coach too because he allowed me to be myself. He never tried to hold me back. He always, we'd have talks. He'd be like, Mo, just go out there, play your game. He's like, I know all these boys have so much respect for you. And even gets, I think there is a team that we might be talking about, but I remember pitching against them, and that was probably one of my best games that I had in middle school baseball pitching wise. And it was so much fun. Like, I just credit, I always just, somehow I get very lucky finding, such great people around me who support me, who respect me, and who allow me to just go out there and be free. So I get very lucky when it comes to meeting people that, give me that support.
My family and I we came out to see you in 2014. Mom was just always talking about you. She was like, this is going to be such a great event. And it really was. So it was so cool. And my kids were very little at the time, but we found some pictures of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I felt all the support. I already, anytime I talk to, my mom, talk to Coach Steve, anyone from back home, I could just feel the love and support. And I even see pictures of like some of my classmates, in Williamsport holding up signs with all of our names on it. Like, it really was a special time. And, just being able to look back and feel how much love that, the community gave us, it is very special.
we hired a great big jumbotron when you were pitching in the World Series.
and we invited the entire community around the schools. So we had all kinds of food. I mean, it was like a great big fair starring the four of you and you, because you were pitching. And then we had the Fanatic there, the Philly Fanatic came. And then there was an ESPN truck. And I remember being interviewed by ESPN, and one of my brothers saw me. I am the least likely of all the siblings to ever be on ESPN, never having played sports. But there I was. And it was such a big day for the school, for all of us, and so much love for you.
I felt great. I really appreciate that. Like hearing it now, especially being older and understanding what happened before, like that support does not go unnoticed. And like I said, it's all about the people that you have around you. And for, so many people in our community to come out and, watch us play, like that definitely meant a lot. Especially, it meant a lot to me, but I know it meant a lot to a lot of my other teammates too, because I know for sure they could feel the love.
Yeah. I think all of you were quite cherished at the school. But you've broken barriers at every level. And, the first girl actually to appear in an ad for Little League. But when you think of the future of professional sports for women, what do you see? What are the roadblocks? What are the possibilities?
Possibilities are endless. I mean, as we can see, they just started a new women's baseball league that, I'm able to go try out for and get back into the sport of baseball, but the possibilities don't end. The WNBA's taken off. They're expanding like crazy. They're actually coming to Philly in 5 years, so that's huge. I know years ago we weren't talking about the WNBA expanding, the NWSL expanding. The women college players in all sports are doing a phenomenal job of, not just marketing the sport in their school, but also marketing themselves and becoming, fan favorites to a lot of people that, wouldn't pay attention to their sport. So I feel like for women's sports, it's only can go up from here. I don't think it could go down. And as far as like roadblocks, I feel like a lot of the time, everyone's been talking about it's just being able to be paid what they deserve to be paid. I think their pay is probably the biggest roadblock that, women's sports will have. But I think give it a few years, that'll definitely go away, and we won't talk about, the pay gap. We'll just talk about how great these women are, what they've done for the sport, what they've done for sports. But I think from here on out, I think we're only going to see women's sports go up.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the rugby Olympian Ilona Maher and how, she has so many people kind of paying attention to what she's saying about how women can succeed in sports and be beautiful and feminine and really have brand identity and not be boxed in by one particular thing, but kind of be able to transcend it. What do you think about that, the kind of the rising up of the athlete influencer space?
I love it. I feel like we get to see a different side of these athletes. I feel like before it was, athletes were stereotyped, but you were kind of just seen as the athlete. But now you get to expand, you get to do different things. And speaking of Ilona Maher, I got to watch her on Dancing with the Stars, and she placed, I think, top 3. Like, that's very impressive. So, seeing people do different things and showing different sides of them is really huge, and that allows fans to, get to see a different side of them and get to really become fans of the person and not just of the athlete. So I was always a big fan of that. That was my goal growing up, was to have my own TV show to show different sides of athletes. And so for, the influencer space to come around and athletes to get incorporated in that, that was my dream, and, that's kind of coming true. Although, I'm not hosting, I'm not interviewing them, but just to see that happening is really cool to see.
I would definitely watch you on Dancing with the Stars.
Actually, I think it was 8th grade. I was asked to come on Dancing with the Stars, but I was going to miss about 6 months of school, or maybe even the whole year of school. And I was like, I can't do that. Cannot.
Do you have any any aspirations now for shows like that?
Not Dancing with the Stars, no.
Yeah.
My dancing talents will, they're not gonna kick in at all. I have no rhythm, but I would do some other shows for sure. Anything fun. Like I really love Wipeout. I love to watch Wipeout when it was on. So I would love to do a Wipeout, episode or whatever. But anything that involves having fun and showing personality, I'll definitely do.
There's so much of it out there. You can really follow athletes down a lot of different there are a lot of different rabbit holes that you can, if you are a fan or if you are a super fan. But there is also sometimes I feel like these parasocial relationships, people being so invested, there is now more than ever an ability to kind of really follow celebrity. Do you see any downsides there, or is this something that you think, wow, people have just so much access now?
Yeah, I think the downside would probably be a lot of people don't understand personal privacy. I feel like that's like the huge downside. Um, but at the same time, I think YouTube is a great platform for athletes because you get to make a long video, however long, day in a life. You can do whatever you want to do. And you also give people you put out what you want people to see. So if you don't want people to see certain things, obviously you can edit that out, not film certain things. But people just people are just so clever on the internet. They just you won't show anything, but they could see something in the background and know exactly where you are, what you're doing, who's there. Like it's pretty scary with the internet how easily access a lot of things are. But personal privacy is a thing that people just don't believe in, I guess. But if they could believe in that, I think a lot more people will show, their everyday life, give a day in the life of professional athletes or whatever your sport you do. But once people understand that, then you'll get to see more of the athletes. So understand personal privacy is huge. So about a month or so ago, I have this app called Cameo. And so basically people can pay for you to do a video, whether it be happy birthday, good luck, anything that they want you to do. And I just remember I got this random Snapchat from some guy that I had no idea who he is. And he was basically like trying to tell me to like live my life. He's like, you need to go to church, you need to do this, you need to stop doing that. And I'm like, who are you? Like, I don't know who you are. And he's like, you know who I am. And I was like, no, I don't. Like, because like you can create your username however you want. So I was very confused. And then I go on Cameo and I'm like, I think I have an idea, but I'm not sure. So I asked the guy, I'm like, was that you on Snapchat? And he just kind of blew up on me. He's like, it's me. Like, started saying all these crazy things and then started mentioning, like previous like relationships and everything. And I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, how do you know these people? Like, you don't I was so confused and I was like this is kind of scary. And for him to like kind of pull people's name out that I haven't talked to in years and call me all types of names and say just kind of accuse me of things that I'm not, like that's the scary part of, being on social media and having people having access to you on different platforms. So that's probably my only experience that I have.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Terrible. It is terrible. You know, being involved in education, I've seen a handful of spectacularly talented athletes. I remember your time at Springside. You were a three-sport athlete. You went to prom. You took part in student government. You were absolutely involved in the life of the school. And I always thought that that was so healthy. So I'm asking you, was that a deliberate choice? And did it help you with your own mental health as you were being asked to do more and more athletically?
Yeah, so I played three sports for 5 years because I was able to play high school sports in eighth grade. So I played soccer, basketball, and baseball, and then 10th grade and up, I played softball. So all 5 years, I was a three-sport athlete. And I knew from, once Little League happened, I just kept begging. I'm like, can I please go back to school? And I know a lot of people, when they have that type of success, they kind of just, you know, take that and run. They might move out to California, keep putting, doing interviews, doing different things, and just kind of put, sports on the back burner, go homeschooling. But I knew my goal was to play college sports. At the time it was basketball, then it switched to softball, but I knew I wanted to stay in school, and I just wanted to be a kid. I feel like when so many people know who you are, you kind of have to grow up super fast. You have to grow up faster than your peers, but I knew if I went to school, if I did everything that my peers were doing, I knew I'd have that normal life, and I'm so glad that I was able to do that, because I have so many experiences from high school, so many memories from high school, that I can just call a friend from high school and we could just talk about it. And if I went a different route, I wouldn't be able to do that. But I enjoyed every single thing that I did at SCH, whether that was giving a speech in 5th grade to be on the athletic association board, or doing my senior speech in front of the entire high school, going to prom, all my blue and gold days. Like, I was able to have those experiences and just really enjoy being being young, being a teenager, being a young adult. And so I'm very grateful for that experience.
I hope every parent who hears you listens to that message. It's a wonderful, wonderful message. But it's amazing to think of you like on the cover of Sports Illustrated, 14 years old, but then also doing student council and blue and gold day. I know. I think that's why I've always had such a feeling for you, because I knew you as sure, you were a star athlete, but you were just such a great kid in the school. And, the school you went to was predominantly white. And I wonder what that was like for you.
Honestly, I always say this, I had a great experience. Like, I think there's probably one incident where it wasn't the greatest, and that was between me and a coach. We just did not get along. We had plenty of meetings and things just didn't work out. So that's actually the one year I did not play basketball at school. But every other year I played, but we just could not get along. But everything else besides that, it was phenomenal. Like, I had a great time. Everything was, went well for me. I felt secure there. I felt like I had people to go and talk to. I didn't feel like I feel like having an adult that you trust, multiple adults that you trust, where you can just pop in the room and they'll hear you out. A lot of students don't have that, but I feel like at SCH, a lot of students had that. So I felt very secure there. I had a great time. I didn't really have any type of incidents. All the students that, I came across were very nice, very respectful, and just wanted the best for everyone.
That's so nice to hear. It really is. So now what's coming up for you? What should we be watching for in the Monet Davis space?
I'll be in DC trying out for the Women's Professional Baseball League. So I will be getting back into baseball. I've been slowly getting back by going to, work out, hitting, pitching, throwing, fielding, all of that. So I'm a professional baseball player, which is crazy to say to me, because growing up, I was like, I'm not going to play in the MLB. Like, I'm not going to be a baseball player. And for plenty of years, I even told myself, and I told a lot of people, like I don't want to get back into playing baseball. Like, baseball is done for me. I'm always around it. I was kind of tired of it, but I feel like when you've done something for so long, you just need a break from it. Baseball is one of my first loves, so I just needed a break, and I was able to take that break, and now I'm hopping right back into it. So I'm going to be playing professional baseball, which is coming up at the end of August for tryouts. They have the draft in October, and then next year is the season. So people will be able to watch that.
That's so exciting. Is this a new league?
Yeah, it's very new.
Are you going to pitch?
I put pitching down. But I feel like I want to try something different, so I put the outfield down as well. I put second base down, shortstop down. Anything that involves me able to run and to hit, I put that down because I want to try something different. I feel like going to hit is my redemption for not getting any type of hits in Little League, so I have to redeem myself and get some hits.
It's so exciting. You'll be the first sports team that I'll follow, actually.
Yes, yes,
It's
yes.
really exciting. Monet, thank you so much for joining us today. This was a great conversation.
No, thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, you're still the same humble, exceptional person I remember from our Springside days together, and I'm so proud of you. I really am. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that because but having seen you grow and mature and having followed you from afar, I really can say that it is an inspiration to be with you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Like hearing someone's proud of you definitely means a lot. I know, I haven't seen you in person in plenty of years, but you've actually seen me grow up from a little second grader all the way up till now and in many years to come. So I definitely appreciate that. And I appreciate you actually, making school fun, making school safe for me, after everything that happened. So I definitely appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys having me on. I had a great time. This was a great conversation. It was very open, lighthearted, fun, nothing too crazy. Also being able to just speak about, the personal privacy, saying that out loud and showing people like, it's a real thing. To always be careful what you put online. Because that is going to stick with you for the rest of your life, and you never know what people are capable of. Like I said before, people aren't completely okay with themselves, and sometimes they try to take that out on other people. So make sure you're able to be careful. So I appreciate you guys giving me that space to just tell people about that.
I'm glad you did, and it's an important message.
Yes, thank you for it.
Thank you.
And we're adding our cheers to your stadium cheers. This was really exciting, and we will of course put have all the links to follow Monet and keep up with what she's doing in the show notes.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. You too.